Alright, so I am back, and sorry about the absentees in videos. Absences. Sorry about missing some videos there. I have been really sick. Like, almost went to the doctor Saturday sick. It was just a cold, but I mean, it kicked my ass. And you know, there were some times where I was feeling well enough to do videos, but I figured, you know, you guys didn't want to hear me coughing and sneezing and hacking a lung and all that good stuff. So I figured, you know, we'll just take a little break from videos. Feel a little bit better. Feeling alright. Haven't really coughed or sneezed too much today, so hopefully we can get through this video. So first off, got a new tattoo. I have a feeling it could be infected. I'm not sure. Lenny seems to think it's just because it's on the inner arm, that it's still red and swollen. I mean, it's been since Thursday. It's 1, 2, 3, 5 days. It's starting to peel, and there's all this slime coming out of it. I'm not sure if that's a good thing, but we'll stick it out a little bit longer. But anyway, let's do the viewer responses for Rant of the Week, the Fansproject one. Now, for the rest of this week, what I'm going to be doing is I will have I will be reviewing this guy today. I'll have this guy's review up tonight. And then I believe I have Combiner Wars Bruticus. It's in my post office, but of course they won't put it in the locker. So we'll look at that all the way up till Sunday, and then we'll do a new Rant of the Week. We'll just skip Rant of the Week this week because it's getting late in the week. I mean, I know it's early in the week, but it's still. I usually do it Sunday, so I missed Sunday, Monday. Now it's Tuesday, so that I would respond on Saturday. So it's not as much fun if I don't have a full week. Anyway, let's move on. Alright, so Too Passive says, I think they could still continue going as long as they continue to bring out quality figures like Smart Robin. Problem with that is I haven't seen anything from them that's Smart Robin quality since Smart Robin. I mean, and that's been what, 2-3 years now? Something like that? I mean, it's been a while. That's kind of sad. The Saros Ruo line is nice, but they are far too pricey for their complexity when compared to other combiner offerings. I don't think I mentioned the Dino King set. I'm really torn on getting that one, to be perfectly honest. Everyone I've talked to that has them says that they're pretty awesome, and I have other things to buy, and it's like, maybe I'll catch up with it at some point. Maybe they should put out a poll to see which lines their customers want them to continue with, and just focus on doing that. Yeah, I don't think it's that they need to do a poll on the customers. I think they just need to stop what they're doing as is, and like, okay, so there are four figures into the Dino King set. Okay, so there's 2 left. Let's just finish it up. Just get it done with. Then the Headmasters, and then the Dinobots. Let's finish off the Dinobots, and then we'll finish off the Headmasters. I know the Headmasters started first, but I think there's more members to the Headmasters to go than there are Dinobots. So I think they should just finish what they have before they start like thinking about other figures. You know, like last year when they did Mad Law figure, it's like, that's not a Headmaster. I mean, that's not a Dinobot. That's not a Dino King. I mean, it fits nowhere in those 3 lines that they're doing. So it's just like they just decided to throw that one out there. I understand, you know, making a risk or whatever, but seriously, I mean, it's like TFC trying to reach outside of the combiner game. You know, when they try that, it doesn't look so good. So it's like they should stick to what they're good at and just finish what they have before they go to the next set. Okay. Anyway, Jeff Perrin says, well, they're currently doing the dynos for Dino King. Yep. And hear good things about those. I hear good things about them too, like I said. But they're more like monster bots from what I understand. You have to buy the dino shells separately, and they're not cheap. Or I guess they're cheap for what they are, but at the same time, it's like, why should I? Because I think with the dino shell, if you get the dino shell plus the Dino King member, essentially it's now $100 a figure. So it's like, I don't know if that's going to be worth it. I'd have to look up the prices on those shells, because it's one of those things. It's like for $60 for that size, I would expect to get the shell with it. But I know some people aren't that important. I think it's important. I mean, if it was under like $10, I'd say okay, but I think they're like 20, 25, something like that, maybe 30. I'll have to double check the prices on that. Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, that part kind of bugs me. But I too don't think they will last much longer. They took what was out there at the time and said, what does this need to be better? Yeah, and they did a great job with it. Nobody's looking at Hasbro like that anymore, besides what Perfect Effect and Dr. Wu tried to do. Perfect Effect's not doing such a good job, in my opinion, and Dr. Wu, I haven't really had much of their products because they're a little pricey for such small things. It costs almost as much as the figure at some points. It's like, I'm kind of surprised nobody has jumped into a third-party Combiner Wars figure line. We all feel burnout from this line already. We all feel... no, you said that. Maybe this is where Fansproject could shine again. I'm honestly burned out on both sides of the river. One side is retools, repaints. On the other side is expensive multiple versions of which do I prefer more. I'm actually having more fun with the upgrades and KOs. Fair enough. Yeah, it's... sometimes it's... Yeah, I can definitely see where you come from. It's like, okay, what we get from Hasbro? Nothing but repaints. And then what are we getting from Takara? Nothing but repaints lately. You know, the newest mold we had was Trax, and that was lackluster. And then we got a repaint of him. And yeah, it's just... And then third party, it's like, oh, you know, we got a bunch of expensive figures in it. I'm always to the point of like, which one do I buy? You know, it's like, I can afford one this week. I need to decide which one. And it's like, okay, I could get this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy. And it's like, how about I just not buy anything for a week? You know, it's like, there's so many things coming out in the last couple months. That's just kind of like, I just sit there and it's like, I can't afford to buy all of it, so let's buy none of it. Anyway, still torn on KOs. Maybe we'll do a rant of the week on KOs one of these days. I know I did that before, but maybe we can do it again with this format, because I don't think I did it in this format where I respond. So, unfortunately, Sammy Turnage says, fortunately I have to agree, and is unfortunate because I own a lot of their product. But the fact is, when you charge almost as much as the same as a Masterpiece figure, people are going to stray towards the Masterpiece. That's true. That has always been an issue. I mean, think about it. It's like Fansprojects, their Stunticon, the cars. They were like what, $55, $60 a piece. You know, why not spend an extra $10 and get a Masterpiece car? I mean, that's how close it is. It's like, I don't know. So it's like, to put it simple, Masterpiece equals quality and CHUG equals cheaply made. I'm sorry if if it offends anyone, but I collect both CHUG and Masterpiece. And John said competition to have too much, especially this when Titan Return starts. Hasbro has their own headmasters coming out, and people are not going to buy the more expensive figures when they can get one in the same scale for cheaper. That being said, if they closed up shop, I do want their highbrow headmaster before they are gone, and I will miss them. I'm holding out on Titan's Return. I don't know if it's going to be good. I don't know if it's going to be bad. We'll see. We'll see. If they're anything like their Brainstorm headmaster, I mean, that thing was gold. I mean, that thing was awesome. I don't think you can get much better than that. And while the Smart Robin figure was better engineered, the Hasbro one was just a better figure. It was bigger, better designed, better play with, and it just looked better. And most of that was because it's only $25 as opposed to $100. That's a huge difference. He's a quarter of the cost of the Fansproject one, and it's like, this guy's actually better. Here's another thing when we're talking about the cost of Fansproject figures. Their headmasters were what, $90 to $100, something like that. I want to say. And they did their Chrome Dome. Now this one, by Make Toys, was only $30 more. It's like $130, something like that. So it's like, I'd spend, if I'm gonna go third party and spend that kind of money, I'm gonna spend a little bit more and get the Masterpiece one. I mean, seriously. It's like they come from the same people, so it's like it makes no sense. So I don't know. Maybe they need to drop their prices significantly and release figures in a better time restraint. It's like. Anyway, moving on. The Dragon Superman Fansproject peaked a long time ago with their Brainstorm. I'm strictly a CHUG collector, but I feel that my needs are being met one way or another. Can't wait for Titans Wars Galvatron. See, I'm still not excited for the Galvatron. I mean, I'm going to get him. My biggest complaint is the fact that the Megatron in Combiner Wars was a leader class, and Galvatron's going to be a Voyager class. So it's like, at this point, if you're a CHUG collector, don't you already have the Unique Toys Mania King? I mean, I know I would have. I think I sold mine. I'm not sure. But anyways, like I definitely would have that guy as my Galvatron, and I wouldn't need a new one, especially one that's a headmaster. All right. Let's see. ESERES SRS. When I'm buying figures, I always have to take my budget in consideration. That's so I don't really mind the waiting between the releases. But what I hate most is the delays after an already announced release date. Yeah, that's something that might hurt a company, in my opinion. With that said, I'd much rather see a company take their time getting the figures right and with no issues. After all, it's your hard-earned cash that you'll be spending on it. A company that spits out a new cheap and crappy figure every week won't get my attention at all. That's why I've chosen to stick to the official Masterpiece line as far as Transformer figures goes. Great engineering and design, okay price point for my budget, and time between releases, and true to cartoons I grew up with. If Takara only released just one figure each year, but it was perfect in every single way imaginable, I would not mind the wait and a singular higher price point because I could afford it. However, if Takara had QC issues all across the board, which hopefully they getting better on. And took too long between each releases, I'd probably give them the finger to stop buying their figures. Yep. The same can be said about any other company as well. With all this said about releases, in my case, as I am collecting MP Transformers for the sake of my own collection only, the long wait is no issue at all, but there is another side to this as well. Some people are actually making a living on reviewing these figures right here on YouTube. So for the sake of their channels, as a long waiting time for the next release of a figure could be a huge downer for them. Would my channel get any subs if I could only review just one MP figure each year? I don't think so. No, that's true. I would be forced to review other figures just for the sake of putting out videos to keep people interested in my channel. I wanted to say a lot more about the things you mentioned, but your dog needs some attention too. So I'm going to leave you with one question at the end of an already way too long comment. If you were to shut down all companies that make Transformer figures tomorrow besides one, which one would you keep in business? Takara, Hasbro, or any third-party companies, and why? Now go and feed your dog, and sorry for the long comment. I already fed the dog. But I'd probably keep Takara open. Just because I know in the past they've been able to hit the nail on the head. They have access to all the Hasbro molds, so they can reissue a bunch of figures if they need to. They have access to all their molds as well. So you know every time that they actually shine, which is more times than not. This last year I've been really kind of like, Takara, you're just as bad as Hasbro, especially like with the Minotaur set. It's like, what the fuck is that? But anyway, but yeah, I'd say them just all around a better company. And as much as I like all the third parties, I think Takara always will beat third party at the end of the day, because they have a better price point aside from their Seekers for some reason. $200 for an MP Seeker, that still bugs me. But outside of that, everything else that they do is at a good price point and worth the a little extra money than Hasbro. Like I said, the Takara Devastator is great for what he is. So anyway, BVZXA3. I'm not even gonna try to say that. CHUG still has life. Think twice. Everything is not MP size. I'm kind of sick of MP when currently the line isn't as stellar as it used to be. Plus, Combiner Wars as well as the new line will still be CHUG. Get off the MP train. No. I know CHUG's still alive. What I meant is, what I was talking about the Fansprojects is that CHUG is dying. And more importantly, the original CHUG line, because there's CHUG and then there's the larger CHUG scale. Most of the Combiner Wars figures and the Titans Returns figures are going to fit into more of a larger CHUG line. That's why the Megatron's a leader class. That's why their Optimus is a large Voyager. I don't have them. I don't know why I'm pointing, but that's why they're bigger, is because it's a larger CHUG line, so they can fit in figures like Brainstorm, who's a bigger Voyager. The original CHUG line that has Classics Prime and the Classics Megatron, Nerf gun Megatron, the original figures, the original line that had those, that's dead. That is dead. And Fansproject is the only company that seems to be putting figures out that fits this line anymore. So that's what I mean. It's like, CHUG is going to live on forever, but this CHUG is gone. The CHUG what you have the classic Seekers in, that's not coming back. It's not. Those classic Seeker molds, they're great, but they've retired them. You know, eye gear seekers are, you know, are better for the larger chug. Hell, even the leader class figures, the leader class seekers, you know, we got those as an option. That's what I meant, is the original chug line as it was is gone, and that's where Fansproject fits in the best. You know, when they have their, like the, like let's take the Fansproject for or the Stunticons for example. Their Stunticons are more of a scout class Stunticons. So why would a scout class car be better suited than the deluxe car that Combiner Wars has? You know, there's my issue there. That's what I meant by when I said Chug is dying. Not all Chug, but regular old small Chug. That's the way of the past. You know, if somebody wants a smaller collection, they'll go to Legends. I know a lot of people that are happy with their Legend collections. All right. Anyway, as far as getting off the MP trade, that MP trade is going great. I'm happy with it. I mean, I can buy figures from so many different lines at the same time. You know, I mean, hell, we're getting MP Primal this year. I mean, seriously, I couldn't be happier. The MP trade is, I mean, it's, you know, it's being led by Takara and being fueled by Fansproject, Make Toys, and MMC, and, you know, Unique Toys, DXI. Yeah, I mean this. No. Anyway, Unicron MK1 MP works for third parties because the pricing is on par with official releases often. Hasbro's beaten third-party Chug often because the price and accessibility. See, that's what I'm saying. Why spend... Let's talk Devastator for a second. You know, okay, the scale-wise for... that works the best for Chug, or Combiner Wars Chug, the larger Chug, would be Giant. Okay, he scales the best with them without the upgrades. He goes for $400. The Takara Devastator is $200. Fansproject Minosaur, what was he? Let's see, 120, 240, about $400. $400 for Minosaur. Now I'm not going to sit here and say that the Chug one or the Combiner Wars one was better than him. Although I think it hits it a little bit better than for me than Fansproject did. That one would cost, let's see, 60 plus 25, $85. The two upgrade kits were let's say $70 altogether. So that's $150. That's still $250 less than the Fansproject one. I mean, there's my point. That's why I'm saying, and that Minosaur, while it looked better than the Combiner Wars one, I mean, that thing was such a bear to transform. Anyway, yeah, but it's like, once you get into the Masterpiece, like, okay, this guy is infinitely better than Masterpiece Tracks, and he's only $10 more. So it's like, this is where I could justify the prices on certain figures. Is, you know, it's almost it's better than the the official stuff, and it's the same price, just about. So, anyway, moving on. Matthias Morkabis says the biggest problem with Fansproject is they skip around and for the most part don't complete a damn line. That's what I was saying earlier. DMAA88. I'm so glad I finally got an Assaulter at a decent price, and I just love my Revolver Corps. I gotta say though, I was quite disappointed with Quick Switch, mainly due to the ratchets that would strip. I was lucky enough to tinker with it at a friend's store, so I decided not to buy it. Still looking for Smart Robin too. Assaulter was a great figure. Don't get me wrong. I thought he was pretty awesome. I hear bad things about Quick Switch, and I'm not gonna buy it. I baited it when it was on sale. That shows you how well they're doing when their big ticket items are on sale. And yeah, I think they're going to be redoing a slight redeco of the Smart Robin, or a full redeco. I can't remember. A full redeco, I think. So might want to look into that. But as you know, if another company tackles that Smart Robin or Brainstorm and does it really well, like let's say Make Toys does it in their line, I would imagine the Fansproject one's going to be going up everywhere and being really cheap. Night Wingdom 1, they're staying a CHUG line, which is dying. Fansprojects are resting on their laurels and dying. See? Luis Perez says, no thoughts about Sorrow's Dino King line. It's pronounced Dino King. I have a hard time with names. These guys suck. I hate all these like Sorrow's not. I'm not good at it. I'm just not good at this. I'm not good at speaking. First off, so they've been putting those out pretty regularly. Yeah, they have, but they've been skipping on all the other figures that they started before this line. That was my problem there. It would have been nice if they, if they would have set the Dino Kings aside, finished like the Dinobots, and then all of a sudden, bam! Here's Dino King and Monstructor. It's just like, gift set for Monstructor, buy them individually for Dino King, and there you go. All within like 2 weeks, and like just surprise the shit out of everybody. Be like, oh, they got a Dino King and a Monstructor, and it's available to purchase now. I would be scrambling to get my wallet together right away. I know I would. Just say. I want to watch the Victory cartoons to see how it scales to MP Star Saber. I might have to go. I might have to give it a go. I wonder how they are doing with their Dino King in Asia, since I'm guessing that is the main target for that toy. I would imagine they're doing pretty decent. I'm no expert on Transformers sales at all, but I would imagine they're doing pretty good over there. Same with like Headmasters. I imagine they're doing better over there than they are over here. I've never watched Victory or any of the other ones. I never have. So I have no attachment to those kind of characters. So I know, over there, I would imagine that they grew up with it. So they have more of an attachment to it. So when they see their favorite characters coming out, they're excited. Whereas me, I'm like, eh. Same with like Leo Kaiser. It's like I know he's a big deal too, and I'm like, eh. Maybe I'll give it a go. Maybe I won't. I don't know. There's so many good things coming out right now. If there's nothing else coming out right now, I would already have all the Dino Kings. There's other things to get. Let's see. BVZXA3 says, my biggest problem with Fansproject is they have the juice to fill the void, but they won't. The biggest issue with third parties is when one does something, you get 4 others that follow. Yep. Instead of doing the copycat route, they still have other figures they could use to fly ahead of everyone else. I think Fansproject was the ones that I want to say they no, they weren't. I was gonna say they announced their Dinobots first, but I know Planet X did. I think they were second, and then came Toy World. But anyway, let's see. Also, don't judge what companies do as a basis of killing a line. Your entire hypothesis is based based of opinion, of course. I like MP and CHUG. However, what will hurt an MP collector's price and the inevitable release of a figure by Takara. I'll cite Quakewave. People spent $400 to get one. Takara drops the bomb, and the value plummets. Well, it wasn't Takara that made that bomb drop. It was not Takara, because they announced their figure after it dropped, and that was when Cloud9 announced that they were doing the Quake Blast figure. That kind of hurt it, and then Fans Toys announced that they're doing the reissues, the toy color one, the cartoon accurate one, and the clear one. So it's like that's what killed the value of the original Quakewave was that, and then Takara was the final nail in that coffin. Now your argument, while it's valid about the $400 to get one, but the problem with that is the fact that the only reason why it has a $400 value is because some people paid that much to get it. Same with the MP Seekers. Like the MP Skywarp now, minted box, is going for $300-$400, and it's like, are you? I think I saw it up to $600. It's like, are you kidding me? That's not worth $60. So it's the fans' fault for jumping that price. I wouldn't say it's worth $400. It's just that's what people were paying for it at the time. It's worth what it was originally purchased for. That's my firm belief. So it's like whenever I sell my figures, if I know I've got something that's worthwhile, I'm selling it for the same price I bought it for, because I'm not here to make money off these things. I'm here to collect them, and if I decide I want to part ways with one, I'm going to sell it for the same price. Or usually, because I don't keep boxes, I'm going to sell it for cheap. You could ask anybody in Facebook on that one. They always know when I'm ready to switch my collection up, because I post all of my stuff on the Facebook forums, and it is dirt cheap. People are like, oh yeah, we got to get that, and I sell them fast. But anyway. That's the issue with the $400 for Quakewave, because it's only worth $150 tops. I spent $150 on my first one, and then we did the giveaway. So I got the toy one, and the winner of that one actually wanted the original one. So it's like, essentially I only spent $150 on him. So it's like, I never sat there and was like, I'm going to spend the $300 on it. You can ask a lot of my friends too. Just like, $200 maybe. Same problem I have like Orion. It's like, everyone's like, oh yeah, you got to get Orion again. It's like, he's a $100 figure and he goes for $250. I'm not spending $150 extra on a $100 figure. I have a hard time with that. Unless it's an actual official release that's been out for a long time and I'm trying to hunt it down. Anyway, let's see here. I think for many, Make Toys is way ahead of the curve, because it will be 2040 by the time Takara probably does MP Headmasters. That's true. And combiners for that matter. MP is a dicey, pricey world. I know the game and everyone jumping on MP bandwagon is great, but I'm picky with MP because all in all, I prefer authentic. MP is a line that it is signature and supposed to be faithful to G1. Too many Dinobots again. Make Toys has the best feel and look of them right now. I'd say Fans Toys is doing a pretty good job too. CHUG is relevant. Combine Wars is CHUG combiners. I already talked about that. So CHUG has its place. Many collectors just want to phase it out, but its presence will always be there. As a Fansproject, they have the power to make themselves the premier group of CHUG if they get out of the copycat phase. Exactly. Their Dino King is one. Yep. They could do the rest of the function line, finish up with the Master Force Victory and Zone. I just think the biggest problem is everyone has to get their foot in the door on what's hot. Combine Wars, Unite Warriors Devastator is going to stand the test of time. I don't know about that. It's a great figure, don't get me wrong. I absolutely love the Combiner Wars Unite Devastator, but I wouldn't say it's going to stand the test of time. Right now, it's killed poor Hercules and Green Giant. Of course. Those guys were dying anyway. So why wait for a third or fourth round of more Devastators? That will be money wasted. Like I said, Fansproject needs to look at what has not been done yet, what people would want. Agreed. I agree with you fully. I think they definitely need to stop thinking about what's already out there. And like, but see, at the same time, Fansproject did do like their Bruticus, for example. Their Bruticus set was amazing for its time. A long time ago they teased that they were going to finish the rest of the set and make a new Brawl, make a new Vortex, and make a new Onslaught. I would love it if they finished that. I would love it if they finished it, because he scales pretty well with Giant, and if they actually got a new Onslaught that was a little bit bigger, then it would be in scale with the regular Combiner Wars figure. Now, remember, he's not Combiner Wars. He might be labeled as Combiner Wars, but that's not a Combiner Wars figure. He's twice the size of a Combiner Wars Combiner. No. Anyway, so in that terms, Giant still works for Combiner Wars, or Hercules would still work pretty well. But it's like I would like it if they could do like Lone Wolf tried to do with Motormaster. They could do something like that. They could make a new Motormaster that the bulk of the trailer could detach from the figure. I know a lot of people hate that idea, but the bulk of it could detach, and that bulk could turn into like the hands, the feet, the head, chest, and stuff like that for the combined mode. And then I know they did their own Stunticon, so it'd be kind of stupid, but at the same time, it's not always about repeating yourself. It's about making the money. That something like that would be a good business decision. If they did the same thing with like Hotspot, because I know a lot of people didn't like the Hotspot. Like they did a Hotspot and a Groove. Something like that. I don't know, but it's like they should. I don't know. Anyway, David Aguero, I agree. Fansproject seems to have started to lose steam. I used to love their stuff. Now I see myself waiting on their stuff in the hopes that they go on clearance. Mad Law is terrible, almost incomplete looking mess. They just don't seem to be keeping up with design-wise with the current stuff from other third-party companies. I was collecting the Headmasters they put out, but it always felt like the Decepticons were on the afterthoughts compared to the Autobot molds. That's true. They always need to finish one line before starting another. That they really need to do that. I think what has really hurt the most are the prices, and the latest stuff you can buy larger, better figures for better prices. With Crocs, I haven't got him yet because he felt like they were trying to make it fit more to the Optimus Prime repaint than the original character. I wish Unique Toys would redo their Predaking set. They felt close as G1 style to me. Would love to see the Masterpiece size. I would too. Oh my god, that would be so awesome. I mean, come on, just upscale the set. Improve the plastic quality, make a couple tweaks, upscale the set, dude. I would be so happy. I would be so happy. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm starting to rebuild the MMC Predaking, but if Unique Toys did it in that scale, dude, I'd drop MMC in a second. In a second. As much as I like MMC, Unique Toys for the win. When it came to the overall look of the Predaking at the end of the day, I thought MMC looked better than, or I thought Unique Toys looked better than MMC. Just didn't function as well. Not nearly as well. But yeah, oh man, that would be Thanks. I'm going to be thinking about that all day. John Lett says they should shock the world and make a classic style Voyager Seekers and move away from Neo. That would be awesome. I would love to see Fansproject do Seekers. Like an IDW Neo designed Seeker. Because they would make those things look so good. And the engineering, like if they used the engineering off of Smart Robin and stuff like that, oh my god, those things would be just awesome. They would just destroy the iGear ones. But they won't do something like that. We all know that. Luis Perez says they might have slowed down releases of their Dinobots since they are so many on the market. That's a possibility. And to focus on their Dinos King and Function X line. It's a shame for folks that want to get the whole set. I feel the same way about Gunner. I love the look of him, but the Dinobots are a team. With no other guys in sight, I can't start on that road. Yeah, that's a shame. Really, with Gunner. I love Gunner. I want that set. That's the set I want, but who knows? Oh, I'm gonna botch this name. Yanid Mai. FTP is still doing chug scale with their figures, including Dino King. Which, like you said, is a bit outdated now. That being said, with Make Toys doing very well, I don't think Fansproject will close. However, I agree that Fansproject needs to finish the trailing figures quickly, i.e. Headmasters and Dinos, and move on probably to MP scales. See, CHUG, like I said, is a dyed line, at least the original CHUG line. The larger CHUG line is still very much going. I think what they should do, what I think they should do is have Make Toys focus on the MPs and have Fansproject focus on the CHUG, because we do need a CHUG company. But see, it's like, I would love it if they were to, upscale these guys to more of a CHUG appropriate size. I guess those guys are just about right anyway. Upscale some of their figures just a little bit. Or something, I don't know what I'm talking about. Lawrence Tubbs says, I think that they are essentially releasing older toys. They've been sitting on these toys, designs, and figures for way too long, and now they're outdated. That could be a possibility. Like, oh yeah, we'll come back to this guy, we gotta put this figure out first, and then they look over there, they're like, I don't know about that guy. It's like, I don't know. And some of the figures, it's like I think we saw product shots or teasers of their Crocs like over a year ago. And it's like, it just now came out not that long ago. It's like, why is it taking so long? Even when they did the reissues of their Bruticus, I remember it was like 3-month delay from when they said that they were going to have it finished or have it released. It was still 3-month delay on that set. And it's like 3-month delay, all because they were trying to tweak that little Quake blast that came with it. It's like, really? That thing's not worth that at all. And they sat there and they tweaked it, and it's still shit. Joseph Flanagan says the upgrade kit for Classics Hot Rods and Ultra Magnus were great. Totally changed the look and feel of the two figures. Magnus was great. The Hot Rod set I thought that was lackluster. I'm a huge Hot Rod fan, and Rodimus Prime fan, so that one I felt was lackluster. That was not my favorite set at all. Not at all. And that one did not age well. Not at all. But the Ultra Magnus one definitely is still in some ways relevant. Unicron MK1 says, good rant, glad I subscribed. Fansproject used to be the only game in town, but they need to reinvent themselves as they're stuck in a rut. Minosaur was a mess in my opinion. Yes. Great combined mode, but messy to get there. Yes. The Dinobots are a distant second to Planet X offerings. Again, opinion, not fact. MP and Legends are hot focus areas, and Fansproject aren't touching either. It's true. But see, again, like I said, if they could rein it in, if they did it right, at the right price points too, if they did it right, they could reinvigorate the CHUG collectors. Make it feel like, oh yeah, you know what, there is something still here. My heart, my collection is CHUG, but my collection is MP, but my heart is CHUG. So it's like, if something came along that they would put out that like would just be like, wow, CHUG still has it. I'd switch back. I probably would switch back. Or start a second, a third collection. But as it is, I mean, let's take their upgrade kit for Optimus Prime, the one that's just was announced a couple weeks ago. That was actually the main reason why I did this video, and I forgot to mention it. But that upgrade for the Optimus Prime, oh my god, what the hell kind of garbage is that? That is not reinvigorating the line. That is just garbage. I mean, absolute garbage, in my opinion. No, that looks terrible. It absolutely looks terrible. I can't believe they made that. It's an insult to first off, it's an insult to the classics Optimus Prime, because that is a great mold and it doesn't deserve something like that clamped onto him. Two, it's an insult to Fansprojects, to what they used to be capable of. This thing looks like trash, and it ain't anywhere near. Even if I sit there and say, I didn't like the Hot Rod, it still ain't anywhere near as bad as this Optimus Prime set. Wow. Just wow. Whew. Okay, anyway, moving on. Nick Sandwich Gabe says, I've noticed a lot of third-party companies are trying to do way too much at once recently. Yes. Fans Toys is the worst. Come on. Just release the Grimlock. Stop with everybody else. Finish Grimlock, be done with the Dinobots, move on. I mean, it's been... I think the pre-order for it is December for next year, or 2016. So we still got about a year away from finishing this set. And it's like... It's already been a year and a half, at least. Just about, yeah, a year and a half. It's like, seriously. I don't want to sit there and say, okay, it took 2.5 years to complete this Dinobot set. That's ridiculous. That's a long time to wait. Gigapower looks like it's going to be a lot longer, though. Alright. Anyway, and Fansprojects is included in that. So many show teasers and black photos of figures, and then show some gray prototypes, and then show another figure or upgrade in the same manner a few months later, and then all of a sudden that previous product gets its release date pushed back. Third-party companies, please slow down and do one thing at a time. Finish something before you move on to 3 more projects. Cough, Beelzebub, cough. But yeah, I think Fansproject, if they keep doing as not so good as they have been, they will get left behind, sadly. As much as I like the company. Big Larry 100 says, Make Toys is the higher level figures of Fans Toys. They are one. Then he also says, Hound is coming from the same people as Fansproject. That is from the guy that owns one of the bigger TF retailers online. I know that their companies are related, but Fansproject was the name. Fansproject was the name. That was the big name for a long time. So, you'd think that they'd want to keep that name going. You know, just like, you know, if Hasbro, you know, let Kidder, you know, reinvented Kidder and had them doing their Transformers, you know, do you really think Hasbro would really want to take their name off of it? You know, because it's a Hasbro name. I don't know if that made any sense to you, but yeah, it's like, yeah, I know they're related. I didn't think they were that related. I don't think they're the same company, from what I understood. I know they're related, just not the same. Like DX9 and Unique Toys, they were related, or they were the same company, and they kind of split off and they're doing their own thing, but they're respecting each other. KFC and X Transbots, there's another one like that. They try to do their own thing, but they're essentially, at the end of the day, you know, related, sister companies kind of thing. But either way, they got to get their shit together. Moses Yao says, for their Dinobots, the Gorilla Block did not surprise me, but it was fine. Their style was horrible. Looked like they borrowed the design from Toy World. 17GM23 says, I love the Function X line. I have about half of them, and they make a nice shelf and are super fun to play with. And have interesting transformations. I consider their style Neo-Chug. They should get into IDW comic characters, since other third party are dominating Masterpiece style. I really ward against going to IDW style, just because MMC seems to really be loving their IDW at the moment. And you know, it's really sad to say that, because there was a time where any company that was making a product against Fansproject isn't gonna sell well. You know, at one time it was always, that's how it always was. It's like Fansproject, if they're saying they're doing let's say if they're doing a brand new classics scaled Abominus, anybody that went up against them is gonna lose. They're just flat out lose. But now it's like, they need to be careful where they make their figures, because if they go up against a company like MMC, they're going to lose. If they go up against, let's say, Make Toys, they're going to lose. If they go up against Unique Toys, they're going to lose. DX9, they're going to lose. You know, at least they'd have a fighting chance against, like, X Transbots. But then again, that's mostly because X Transbots doesn't know how to have a quality control on their product. But that's a different story for a different day. Let's see. DB Dozer 1. I think they were on top when they were the only game in town. I owned all the early Fansproject toys up to D-Bone. I can only speak for myself, but the expectation of City Commander and Protector, I had breakage. Joints that would grind down to powder and poor tolerances. That's what ended my support for Fansproject. Mine all were great. I mean, I loved them. I loved everything that they were putting out for a long time there. I was like, man, this is gold. I can't imagine things better. Even their Swindle and Blastoff still are, in their own ways, their Swindle and Blastoff are better than the Warbitron Swindle and Blastoff, in my opinion. They're just too small for the collection, and it's the rest of the set's out of date. But it's like, stuff like that was better. For me, it was better. Sarge133, I'm with you. Fansproject will fold, probably within a year or two, solely because their release schedule. Other companies are giving us the same or better quality at 2 to 3 times the pace, and at similar price. Smaller price is what I'd say. I mean, just other companies are doing better. That's just how it is. Joseph Flanagan says they should surprise everyone and come out with a combiner, maybe King Poseidon. They should do something that no other company is doing. It's funny you say that, because TFC's doing King Poseidon, or they're doing the Seacons, which, if they're smart, they'll repaint it. I don't know why they haven't repainted any of their figures yet. I mean, my God, come on. That is the no-brainer to make a little bit of extra money. And this goes for everybody. TFC needs to repaint their figures. And Warbitron, I mean, come on. A Ruination from the Bruticus? Why is that not a thing? Why is that not a thing? Fansproject, doing G2 Minosaur. Make Toys did it right by doing the yellow Devastator first, and then the green one, and then the fixed yellow one. That was right. TFC did the repaint of Giant into like shattered glass, or Devastator, and that was like okay. But where's the yellow one? Why wasn't there a G2 one? I know they wouldn't sell as well as the original ones, but you don't have to make it in such high quantities. Where is G2 Defensor? Where is G2, let's see, I would like to see like a Beast Wars style repaint of their Predaking. I'd buy that on a heartbeat. Do Rampage's Cheetor, do the Rhino as Rhinox, let's see, the Bull could be, what was his name? Bighorn? Bone Crusher. The Buffalo. The Eagle could be like a Silverbolt or Air Razor, and the Lion could be Leo Prime. I mean, my God, that would be awesome. I'd buy that. I wouldn't combine them, but I would buy that in a heartbeat because, like I said in those reviews, I think it worked better for Beast Wars style. What else? Let's see. They're doing their C-Cons now. And it's like, okay, well, let's get the C-Cons and let's do the original G1 paint scheme. Let's do the King Poseidon one, and then let's do the Beast Wars one. Anyway, but yeah, it's seriously, some of these companies are just stupid by not doing all the repaints, and then they do something like, I mean, and I'm not nearly knocking MMC here, but they do something like, and a lot of companies do this, but like they have the Nero Rex, and we're just a black Predaking, and it's like, okay, that's cool, but it's just cool to look at. It's not like something out of some canon. It's like, why are they the only ones that are repainting these things? Why can't anybody else repaint something? MMC is the master of repainting everything black, though. All right. Crab CMDO says, I think the reason Fansproject seems so mediocre now is because for a while they were one of the few third-party companies. Other better companies surfaced since then in the vein of Fansproject's success, beating them at their own game. Essentially, I don't own any Fansproject stuff though, so I can't say for sure if the quality of their stuff has gone downhill with each release. I hear their Dinobots weren't the best. The ones I had weren't great, but they weren't like trash as far as QC goes. But yeah, that's a different story there, really. Maybe the stuff is getting meh now because they feel inclined to make stuff crazy engineered to compete with the companies like MMC and General Not MP market right now. Andrew says, I feel if they don't expand beyond chug scale, they could get left behind. I also think they need to get better organized with release dates. Yes, they do. MA70er says, shame on Fansproject as I prefer the Neo aesthetics of their Dinobots over Planet X Drex game homage. I would like to see them finish the line sooner than later, as I now am in the market for chug scale Dinobots. I've seen stellar reviews of Planet X Dinobots, and while I'm now more likely to get them as they're a readily available set. Blech. I'm having a hard time talking. Ideally, they aren't my first choice. However, either company, complete set won't be cheap when it's all said and done. And I would be livid if I go with Fansproject and see them either abandon the line or fold. Yeah, that would suck. Nathan Darvers says, I feel Fansproject has stayed the same while other companies have gotten better. I've got their Columbio and then decided to go with Planet X because the quality felt so much better. And the engineering was better, in my opinion. I am not an MP collector because they are a little out of budget, and the third-party MPs are very expensive. Not all of them. Some of them are pretty reasonably priced, but I understand what you're saying. I do, however, go with larger chug scale, as in I use the leader megs instead of the classic versions. Besides that point, I think they need to step up the designs and maybe even size up just a bit to get back their reputation. See, that's what I'm saying. It's like if they would just make their figures a little bit bigger, we'd be golden. Reaper Redimir 2112. I think Fansproject has spread themselves too thin. Think about it. They have their Exo Realm line, Dinobots. They have their Function X line, Headmasters, and the Warbot line, Steel Core, Revolver are in there. There's also the Causality line, Insecticons, Bruticus, Minosaur bots, being in that line too. Now look at Fans Toys. They just do the MPs. Now with Fans Toys, it's like, yeah, they're doing MPs, but they're also doing certain MPs that they shouldn't be doing while they're waiting on the Dinobots. Anyway, Planet X just does the fall Cybertron designs. X-Transbots seems to be MP only now, too. Yeah, X-Transbots is not MP. They're just not. That's my New Year's resolution, is not to purchase anything from KFC or X-Transbot this year. That's my resolution. Will not buy them. Won't do it for a giveaway. I think a friend of mine might send me a blaster to look at, but outside of that, I'm not gonna buy an X-Transbot figure. I won't. Nope. To be fair, though, Make Toys also has a ton of lines. Remasters with their MP, the Manga Mech series, their recent Tailgate and Swerve belong there. Their combiners belong to another line, forgot the name, and also they have the City Bots. They've kept the interest, I think, thanks to their MPs. Yeah, their City Bots are fucking trailing. Another strike against Fansproject is that the latest release is that Power Masters Prime upgrade for Classics Voyager Prime. I told you. That really no one asked for anyway, and to add insult to injury, it looks like garbage too. See, I'm not the only one that thinks that. I'm glad. They teased that a little over a year ago to a rather lukewarm reception at a TFCon, I believe, and still went ahead with that instead of doing their dinos or headmasters. Yeah, it's like, where the hell is this upgrade kit coming from? That upgrade kit is going to shelf warm hard. I can bet you that. I would be surprised if a lot of stores even pick it up to sell it. You know, and if they do, it's going to be like 5 or 6 units because they're not going to be able to sell 5 or 6 units. Ashaman55 says, I think Masterpiece is running out of steam. There are too many people making the same toys. That's very true. That's getting really irritating. It's like, I've said this before, and I really think all the third-party companies need to sit down at like a council meeting and decide, like, okay, Fans Toys, you're doing great with the Dinobots. We're going to give you the Insecticons and, give you, a couple other figures here. DX9, you're going to do these figures. Why don't you focus on Decepticons? Like post-movie Decepticons. Fans Toys, you're doing pre-movie Autobots. MMC, you could do pre-movie Decepticons. X-Transbots, you could hold the door open for us when we're bringing out our designs. Probably fuck that up too. I'm not a fan of X-Transbots, could you tell? But anyway, something like that. I think they should really sit down and decide who does what, and then Make Toys could do post-movie Autobots. That'd be awesome. I would love to see a Make Toys Masterpiece Springer. Whew. Think about that for a minute. TFC could team up with Warmatron, and they can start making good combiners, because TFC's got the better. They seem to have a better quality-ish, whereas Warmatron has quality control issues but better designs. So it's if they work together, I think with Toy World, I think the three of them could put out the perfect combiner. I think those three together could pull it off. But anyway, let's see. There are too many people making the same toys, and they are running out of options, and the price is too high. I don't think they're running out of options. They just keep picking the same option. I mean, seriously, do we need 3 different reflectors? Really? Fansproject put out 4 Dino King robots last year. I think you forgot to count. Yes, I did. Please, if you count the toy show, plus if you count the toy show exclusives, there were even more. No, the year before, 2014, I think 2 of their Dinobots came out as toy show exclusives. They were a big hit for the Diaclone, but the Swoop that came out this year, he came with the alternate chest, so I think that was meant to be the Diaclone one. I don't think he got a Diaclone reissue. So I don't think there was any toy show exclusives this year from them. None that I can remember. Anyway. Seeing Fudginess, John says, ooh, dressed up. That's because I just got off work, and I just got home, just walked in the door. Trans5 says, I gotta disagree with you there. Okay? I agree with BVZXA3. Chug is not dead. Not with MMC, TFC, Toy World still doing figures that can fit with him. I do agree with your synopsis. Fansproject has not changed. It's just everyone around them has or is getting better. And don't forget their prices. Their small Dino King figures are about $90 a piece. I think they're more like $65 for most of them. The two body ones were $90, I think. And like I said, I mean, when I said Chug is dying, it's the original classics Chug. It's not the current Chug, which is the larger Chug. Because that's the one where you could get Orion to lead, and you can't get Hegemon because he's too small. Toy World couldn't figure that one out. Fucking morons. I'm sorry, that still irritates me. It's why can't you make your Optimus the same size as your Megatron? Why is Megatron shorter? Why do we have to rely on another third-party company to give your Megatron moon shoes to make it the same size? Good move, guys. Seeing Funny John says maybe they're having a midlife crisis. Possibly. He also says, wow, sounds like they bitten off more than they can chew. Yeah. Okay, Gen X Ogenchi says, I think if Fansproject plays their card right, they can survive with little to no change. They just need to focus on doing the right figures and avoiding competition. If they try to do a Devastator, they're just plain screwed. Yep. Anyone who tries to enter the Devi game now is screwed. Combiner Wars has the budget market, Gen Toys has the Neo market, Toy World has the MP market. I'm interested in their Headmasters and their Dino King set. And probably they're taking a while. If they can speed up while keeping the quality decent, and complete their sets before jumping headfirst into another set, they can get somewhere even with their controversial aesthetics. I don't have a problem with their aesthetics, honestly. I think I like the Neo look sometimes. You know, sometimes I don't, sometimes I do. Sometimes they go way too far off the reservation, but for the most part, it's still like yeah, that's you know, definitely. Let's see, Breakdown. Oh my god, that Breakdown figure was awesome. I mean, seriously, he looked good. He had the Neo design, but he looked great. But if he was a little bit bigger to fit into the current Chug line, that might work a little bit better. If I was in their shoes, I'd finish the Headmasters, finish Dino King, and then stay away from the sets for a while and just do a few standalone figures and test how they do on the market before any drastic changes. See, that's the problem with doing a set. You know, it's like if you know exactly what you're doing and you can pull it off, sometimes, you know, the set is the way to go, because then you get people hooked in for the next 4 purchases. You know, sometimes that's a good way to do it, like TFC with their Hercules. You know, it's like you buy that first figure, you're like, all right, this is pretty cool. You know, first I was like, yeah, this thing is awesome, and now I'm going to spend the next $500 on this company. You know, stuff like that. You know, but if it doesn't pay off like TFC's Predaking, it's like you knew it wasn't going to pay off like almost right away. You could see that they lost their interest in it right off the bat, and it's just like, and that's a shame, because I did like the way that one looked overall. Had it just had better quality control and a few tweaks here and there, that thing could have been a contender. But instead, it's a pile of shit. Anyway, see, Funny John says, sounds like they dug a hole and they did make sure the ladder is stable. They are just grabbing at the mud slowly to their own doom. That's a good analogy there. He also says, just the tightest touch. He's currently sleeping on my floor. He looks pretty relaxed. He's having a lazy day. Rocket Down Plus says, after they release Grimlock, I am done with it. See if Funny John says, oh, Figure Arts Neo. They better not skip out on the guns. I think that's it. That was a long one. But yeah, ultimately, it's like I said, it's like they need to change it up a little bit. I think, but at the end of the day, their quality isn't necessarily the issue. I know some people would argue that point, but it's the scale and what they're doing. You know, like I've said a couple times in this video, is Chug, the original Chug line is dead. The upsized Chug with the Combiner Wars figures, that's still going strong, and I know that's going to be around forever. They need to start working to be in that line, and if they can start doing certain things in that line, you know, they're gonna kill it. They can still kill it, because there's nobody else that's really. Look at Toy World. It's clear that they're slowly moving more into MP. Big Toys is probably going to move more into MP now that their first few hits were really good hits. You know, MMC with their Sphinx and their Insecticons, you know, they're probably going to start moving more into MP and also doing the IDW stuff, because nobody else was doing the IDW stuff. So Fansprojects should focus on stuff like what you guys said, like the Victory Headmasters. What was the other one? Victory Headmasters and I can't remember. But if they focused on those lines right there, you know, get those guys, you know, they would have that perfect little niche where nobody would touch them. You know, they would be knocking it out of the park, especially if they did it in a large chunk. Because let's face it, like, even if they were to make Leo Kaiser in more of a chug scale, could you imagine? I mean, I know TFC is doing it right now, but my money would be on the Fansproject one for that. You know, I'm not. You know, I'd be interested in Leo Kaiser, but not a Masterpiece Leo Kaiser, just because it's like I have no attachment to that character. Or imagine this: Orion size, maybe a little bit bigger than Orion size, Star Saber, made by Fansproject using the engineering of Smart Robin. Think about that. Does that not make your mouth water a little bit? I don't even know who Star Saber is for the most part, and I have no interest in the Masterpiece one. But if they were making one in CHUG scale, like a larger CHUG scale Star Saber, you bet your ass I'm going to be buying that thing. Even if it's the same price as the Masterpiece one, I'm buying that thing. I would be, and that would revitalize me for CHUG. I mean, I would definitely pick that up, or maybe around the same size scale, Deathsaurus. I don't even know what that guy looks like. I just know his name. But I think he was the main bad guy in one of the series. But imagine if they did that. I mean, come on. It wouldn't be that hard. I mean, it's like with their Dino King and Instructor, it seems like that's where they're kind of going. But they need to go full steam there. You know, finish their Headmasters, finish the Dinobots, finish Dino King, and then go there, go a little bit larger CHUG scale, and man, we would have some awesome stuff coming out. You know, focus on the Japanese exclusive shows. You know, Beast Wars 2, Beast Wars Neo. You know, I mean, man, imagine Fansproject took a crack on the, I can't remember if it was 2 or Neo, but the Galvatron that was a big dragon, big purple dragon with the drills and stuff. Imagine if they took a crack at that. Or the R.A.D. Megatron. The original R.I.D. Megatron, you know. Imagine if they took a crack at all the original characters from R.I.D. You know, Fansprojects, you know, a Fansproject, like large Voyager Ultra Class style Scourge, you know. That's where they should be. That's what I think, anyway. But yeah, again, stop and think about that for just a minute. Fansproject, Orion-sized Star Saber, engineered similar to Brainstorm. That right there, that's where the money's at. Fansproject. Like I said, I don't know anything about Star Saber. He's not my favorite character, but I would buy that. I would buy that. And I do not collect CHUG, and I'm not a fan of those series just because I don't know anything about them really. And I would buy it. And I'm hesitant to buy the official Masterpiece one. So yeah, there you go.